I think that we should actually start with the marathon on Friday, how it went. And then we should talk about the next one, because the next one already we can plan way ahead of time. And based directly on the feedback that we were getting on the marathon on Friday, I think that we're going to change it up and do something differently. Okay? Make it more.
So, in a surprise to absolutely nobody, after the disaster of a marathon that was Friday's retroathon, when DSP came back on Sunday, we had a nice long conversation about it where he shares that magically, for some unbeknownst reason, we will be changing up the way that he does marathons. And I was expecting, honestly, a little bit more saltiness and a little bit more cope, but he didn't. He stayed fairly constructive, but the problem is that the man just doesn't have any ideas. But let's listen to him. Ugh, I don't know why we'd want to, but let's hear him explain a little bit.
Refreshing, more interesting. Okay. So basically, here's the deal. Friday, we did a marathon, and the marathon was retroathon. Okay. This was a retro-based marathon where we played games exclusively off of Nintendo Switch Online's expansion pack on the Switch 2. It was a good idea, and people had been telling me they were craving to see me play retro games. And so this basically satiated that craving, right? All day.
I don't know who told him this. I don't recall anybody telling him this. I feel like this was just something that he picked because he talks about these games all the time. I know of very, very few people, if anybody, who are asking him to go backwards so far. I've seen people ask him to play Stellar Blade. I've seen people ask him to play Neo 3. I very rarely, see people in his chat that are legitimately asking for older games.
Long, I played 10 different retro games spanning the length of Nintendo's existence and even the Genesis, including games like Battletoads and Double Dragon 2, racing games like F-Zero GX, classic FPS games like 007 GoldenEye. Wow, that one went well, didn't it? Just a good variety of stuff. We had fighting games. We had everything. Good stuff in there, right? Personally, I had a great time. It was relaxing. It was chill. I mean,
he didn't seem like he had a very good time. Towards the end, he was silent, barely saying anything. I don't think he had a very good time. And it was certainly reflected in the money, $343 for an 11-hour marathon. So I'm not surprised that after the absolutely horrible marathon in February, and then this one in March that did even worse, I'm not surprised that we're getting all of this now.
The end of the marathon, we played Ninja Gaiden 1, got to the end of it again, and didn't have time really to fully push and try to take on the final boss. Maybe we'll do that at some point in the future, because now we're in prime position to kind of resume from World 6 and see if I can actually beat the game legit. But overall, I really liked this marathon.
He didn't at all. And you could tell his attitude was just rude and shitty for several hours before the marathon was even complete. You could tell that he was so angry. He said things like, I wanted you to get me to $300. You didn't comply, and nasty to kick Chad a few times. So I don't think he had a fun, chill, positive time.
The feedback that I got was this. The marathon was good.
No one said that. But
again, this is like the third marathon I've done in a year. People didn't like the way I did it. Allow me to explain.
We are basically going back now into the cope of, well, I let the viewers decide. The viewers made bad choices. Nobody knew what was going on. Because if we remember from the marathon that was done last month, the cope over the poor performance of that marathon was, well, we were just randomly voting on games and nobody knew what game was coming. Nobody knew what game we were going to play. And when people would show up, they wouldn't know what was going on. So naturally, we did the same thing again for the March marathon. We changed nothing, as he usually never does, and got even worse results. But if you think back to last May, we had the viewers' illusion of choice marathon where he was letting people vote. And supposedly trolls rigged the vote and trolls picked games and trolls and detractors and LARPers ruined everything and nobody was getting a vote anymore. Nobody was going to have the right to choose. But yet we do this over and over and over where the power and the ultimate authority is put in everybody else's hands. And this was done again. And only now, in the face of a $343 marathon, has he decided magically, he's come to this conclusion after two of the most sad and pathetic marathons you've ever seen. He's decided that, this might not be working. The sad truth is it doesn't have anything to do with the games, but he desperately needs to believe that it is the game. The bottom line is none of the whales came in to give him any money. Ryan didn't show up as far as I know. Iron Chef Sakai didn't show up as far as I know. That Jay Hayes, whatever, the one that gave him $200 and then talked a bunch of smack about trolls and detractors. I guess he decided that he wasn't going to support the marathon and stick it to the trolls. Nobody with any real deep pockets showed up for the marathon. NDO came in, dropped 20 gifted. I think that's about $100 ish, respectively. So that was really it. And I think that was after a lot of begging. So magically, the way that he has continued to do this over and over and over again isn't working. So you will hear his astonishing new idea and how it isn't any different than what we've always done.
The power in the hands of the viewers, meaning the viewers were nominating games, voting on games, and then after a vote went down, I would play whatever game won the vote, reshuffle the cards essentially of the deck, do another poll, people would vote again, I'd play what won, reshuffle the deck, etc. Right? So here's the thing. Even though people seem to like to have that level of input, they want to be interactive and have their vote count for something. Because of the nature of an event like that, it means that you never know what's going to happen, right? Like there were people who tuned into that.
No, that means that you always have somebody else to blame, like you do right now. This is essentially what you're doing right now. You're blaming other people for voting wrong or giving you bad games or whatever the case may be. How exactly do you have a retroathon? Ugh, terrible name. How do you have this and you have access to all of these games? You play no Mario on a retro Nintendo / Sega. You don't play Primal Rage. You don't play Sonic. You don't play Killer Instinct. You don't play Mario. You don't play Zelda. Like, what are you doing, man? You know, I'm not shitting on Battletoads, but who showed up for that? You kind of got there with 007, but you were just so ass at it. Who showed up for Double Dragon? Who showed up for F-Zero? And I like F-Zero, but nobody showed up for this. No Mario Kart, no Mario to speak of. People were asking you to do Luigi's Mansion. You wouldn't do it. You had the opportunity to stop at any point and say, you know what? A lot of people are asking for ABCXYZ. So that's what we're going to play. Nobody asked for Pokemon Stadium. Nobody asked for, but they have to vote. They have to vote on something. You were the one who ultimately gave them the options of A, B, C, or D, and they had to pick. You made bad choices. How do you not play Star Fox 64? Like, sir, you know?
At Retroathon, because they were hoping to see me play Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube. We did not play Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube because it never won a vote. It was in multiple votes.
Yeah, but after a while, you got really snippy with people and you said that you were going to choose the next game. And of course, you chose Street Fighter. You chose a game for you, which that's fine. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But why not choose? You know what, you guys, a lot of you guys have been saying something about Luigi's Mansion. You know what? We're going to give it a shot. I am vetoing the next poll. We're not doing one. You have the power, believe it or not, to say, well, this is what we were going to do, But I'm realizing that this is not a good idea. And I believe more people would respect you for it if you would all of a sudden say, you know what? This is not going well. We're going to do this a different way. Or as the streamer, I am taking over and making an executive decision. These are the next 2 or 3 games, respectively, that we're going to play. This is what we're going to do. You have the power. You have the control. Stop acting like such a weak little bitch, like you don't have any power, like you don't have any control. You knew it wasn't going well. You knew it wasn't going well when you sat at $260 for hours. So do something. Stop just letting this happen. You look so weak and out of control. Get your shit together.
But it just never won, and therefore, we never played it. Now, if you specifically showed up to that marathon, the wrong color here, I just realized. If you specifically showed up to that marathon to see Luigi's Mansion, and it never happened, then you're probably upset, or maybe not upset, but disappointed. Right?
Well, you didn't promise anybody Luigi's Mansion, so I guess they can be upset all they want. It doesn't really make any sense, though. And we're back to, it doesn't have anything to do with the games. Nobody was coughing up any money. You were rude. You were mean. You were nasty. Why would people bother supporting or showing up? You were either wage or rage quitting everything. You would die over and over and get angry and quit. GoldenEye was a disaster. Double Dragon was a disaster. F-Zero was a disaster. Jet Force Gemini was a disaster. Like, half of this shit was just, like, really stupid.
Right? And I can understand that. I can totally understand that you wanted something, you showed up for it, it didn't happen, darn, right? Or the flip side of that. Maybe all day you were waiting for me to play Ninja Gaiden and you were hoping it would happen. Well, it didn't happen until the very end. Well, what if you couldn't be there for the very end, but you were there at the beginning? Well, you didn't get to see what you wanted. Now you're forced to watch it after the fact on demand, which, to be honest, is not the same effect as if you were there live and able to interact with me, right?
To which he doesn't interact much with the audience at all.
I get it, okay? Here's the thing. Things are different, particularly now that there are no set goals. There's no milestones. There's nothing happening based on income or something else happening. It's just kind of...
So in other words, nobody wants to give you the $100 to take the shot of alcohol anymore. Is that where we are? Are you mad? He tried that. Goals are back, believe it or not. He tried. It was, get me to $300 and I'll drink this. I think it was a White Russian, he said. And so he tried. He tried there for a hot second to get people to donate for him to drink. And I do feel as if he held back on the drinking a little bit to perhaps entice or encourage people to give him more money. And I have it somewhere in one of my videos where he says, you know, never mind, I asked you guys to get me to 300, but, you know, fuck it, I'm drinking this anyway. I asked for $300 and you didn't comply. So fuck it, I'm drinking it anyway. He didn't wait to take the drink until he got the money because the money wasn't coming. The bottom line is, it doesn't matter how you slice it or what you say is, you know, wrong. It just, these marathons are not entertaining enough to hold people's attention. But again, like I say, we are talking about some of the failures and what he seems to think is, you know, going wrong. So what we're hearing is going wrong is other people have the ability to choose. And yet again, we're falling back on, well, people don't know what games are coming. People don't know what games we're playing. He's never had a particularly set schedule. He will say, here are the games that we're going to be playing over the course of the marathon. But even with Mega Man, when he would do like Mega Man 1, 2, and 3, he didn't know how long it was going to take him to get through 1. And what if you were a fan of 3? Well, fuck, you might not get there, depending on how bad this guy sucks at 1 and 2. So you've never really known. This whole, well, people don't know what we're playing and people don't know what we're doing. Right, they don't, but don't they like you? Are they only showing up for the game? No. The bottom line is nobody came because nobody cared. About the games, about you, about anything.
Let's play it loose, right? Everything's always played loose now, which is a good thing in some respects. But if you're doing a marathon like this, and particularly people want to see something specific and, you know, it doesn't happen, not so much. So the feedback I am overwhelmingly getting is this. We need to have an event that's planned ahead of time, that's locked in ahead of time, that we
He plans these weeks ahead. We have known for weeks because as soon as he came back from the Valentine's Super Bowl debacle a month ago, he was like, "Oh, I don't like the way this happened. We're gonna have to get something locked down really quick." And we did. We've known about this retroathon for weeks. But now all of a sudden, oh, we got to get something locked down. This just isn't good.
know what you're doing, we know when to show up, and we can see what we want to see rather than sit around all day and maybe not get to see what we want. Okay? So I hear you.
I don't know where he came up with this wild idea.
In fact, overwhelmingly, the feedback that I got at the end of that marathon, since the next marathon event will be on my birthday, which will be April 6th. Okay? So it's for the record. Let's actually take a look. So April 6th is a Monday, which is actually
It's the day after Easter.
rare that I would do a marathon on a Monday, but I'm actually going to do this marathon on my actual birthday. Okay? So on Monday, April 6th, I will be doing a marathon. It will be my birthday event. Okay? So during that marathon, there will be birthday festivities. I'll have special birthday animations and music and stuff to play.
Oh boy, aren't you looking forward to that? Birthday animations and birthday festivities. I don't know. I don't know who's not looking forward to their birthday this year for their birthday festivities. This guy talks like a fucking robot.
I have like cake, maybe. I'll have to talk to my wife about that and see, do we want to order a cake? Does she want to make a cake? Some years she's actually made me a cake, but I think she might actually be working that day. I'm not sure.
Why would your viewers care about cake? Okay.
And
It's
so,
your birthday. Like, do we get to eat a piece of it?
here's what we're going to do. All right? The feedback I got is, Phil, for once, it's your birthday. All right? You choose. If you
So here we go. This is the crazy, insane conclusion that he has come to. He is just once again making it an illusion of choice, and he's going to pick everything, even though he did. He's the one who wrote the options A, B, C, or D for people to vote on for the last marathon. He's the one who said, well, we can play GoldenEye, we can play Star Fox, we can play Luigi's Mansion, or we can play, I don't know, insert some bullshit here. And then the people voted, but they were only given choices that were approved by him. So what are we doing here? Everything is ultimately approved by this asshole, because if he doesn't want to do it, we know he's not gonna.
want to do a Mega Man marathon, do a Mega Man marathon. If you want to play a certain kind of game, play that game. Do whatever it is you want to do because it's your birthday. So control the event. Don't put it in the hands of the viewers that it's uncertain and indecisive and no one knows what we're doing. Just lock it in. Okay?
So after years of be a man, grow some balls, and make a decision, we finally have this guy saying, I'm going to be a man, I'm going to peek in my shorts and find a pair, and I am going to make some decisions. Except 3 seconds later, after saying this, he immediately defaults to, so what do you guys think I should do? It immediately defaults back to, well, okay, I'm going to run this. How do you think I should run this? What do you think I should do exactly?
Okay. So I think perhaps that's what we're going to do. But the question is, what is it that I want to do? And the answer is, I'm not sure yet. Like I was thinking in my head, what would be a few things that I would like to do, right? Well, first off, I do want to do another Mega Man marathon this year at some point. We have it unfinished. We basically played Mega Man 1 through 8, and we never finished 8. So I want to finish 8, and then I want to go on to 9 and 10, which were the throwback Mega Man games that were more modern but play like classic NES Mega.
He did 3 Mega Man marathons last year. Let us hope and pray that we don't have to see Mega Man again. Also, could you throw out like that super hobo chic sweater? Like somebody has done something to the neck, to the collar of that shirt. Like it has been so stretched out. I don't know if it's just been like washed 1,000 times, but This is some of the rattiest, nastiest looking shit I've seen you wear. So please throw this sweatshirt away. You can have comfort, but still not look like you came out of a dumpster. Okay. Thank you.
Mega Man. I feel like leaving that unfinished would actually be kind of a disservice, especially to those who loved my Mega Man marathons last year. So I do want to get around to that at some point, okay? During my birthday, I don't know. It's a maybe, okay? Now, the other thing I was thinking is, what are some of my favorite games of all time, right? And the answer...
It's hard to say what his favorite game is because you have to remember now, this is a marathon. This is where he wants to make a considerable chunk of money. We wouldn't be making all these changes if he was truly happy with the $343 that he got on Friday. We just wouldn't be seeing these changes. That's the way it is. But we've had several marathons now that have just been like worthless support. So now we're doing all these changes. So now he's been told, well, play your favorite games. His favorite games aren't going to make him dick by ways of money. So now he has to decide, well, what can I pretend are my favorite games that will make me a lot of money? This is going to be, I feel, a little bit tricky for him to do because this is a marathon. He has to play what's going to pay.
The answer to that is simple. It depends on the genre, but if you think about it, like, what's my favorite platformer of all time where if ever I wanted to sit back and relax and have a cozy, fun day, I would play it? And the answer is very simple. Super Mario World. That is...
And why didn't you play that on Friday? You played no Mario in your Nintendo Retroathon. Wow.
Absolutely, hands down, my favorite platformer. It's got great content. It's got great graphics, great controls, great music. Everything is great. I love that game to death. And I would play it a zillion times, right? I just love it. But what about my favorite RPG? Probably Final Fantasy VI. Even though I love others, it's probably the one that I like the most, okay? So we could sit here and we could talk like this all day about what's my favorite game of each genre, right? So maybe an idea is that we talk about this leading up to my birthday and we decide, do I want to play a little of all of my favorite games of all time during the birthday?
So you'll notice the language there. It's already changed back. We will talk and we will decide what I should do. Boy, that just didn't take long at all, did it?
Or maybe we want to focus in on one specific game.
Maybe we want to focus on one specific game. We're already back to this cult speak where I'm not going to make a decision. You're going to make the decisions for me so that when this goes badly, we've seen what happens when they go poorly. It's, well, everybody else was choosing and it came out shitty.
And I actually play that game as a marathon during the day. Like, what if I decide, hey, for my birthday, we're going to do a marathon of Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster where I play like 8 hours of the game on my birthday while I'm drinking and chilling and just having fun with all of you. We could do that. Now, I don't know how many people would show up for it.
I don't know that Mr. Variety is going to limit himself to just one game. I think he knows better. I think he knows he has a bigger possibility, naturally, of pulling in more people with big money throughout the day if he plays multiple different games. I don't know that he would let himself be stuck in the corner of playing one game.
But at least you would know what I'm doing on my birthday, as opposed to all these other marathons we're doing and no one knows what exactly they're going to be, right?
And this is garbage anyway, because yes, they did vote for the Valentine's one last month, but he read off the list of games that they would be choosing from. He read off the list and played nothing popular, played nothing interesting, and it just didn't go well. But they absolutely knew what was coming. We know that this guy isn't going to play anything horror. We know this guy isn't going to play anything. Of course, it was retro, so nothing new is coming up. Why on earth you do a retro marathon for Nintendo when the biggest Resident Evil ever is out? And what you should do is a Resident Evil marathon, you fucking idiot. It's like, oh my God. It's like somebody cannot be this perpetually bad. You knew when Resident Evil was coming out. Why didn't you restructure your marathon around this a little bit better? Why wasn't there a Resident Evil marathon before 9 came out? Hey guys, we're going to start with 0. We're going to see how far I can get, how many of these I can get through. Maybe we'll throw in some side games. Maybe we'll do all this in preparation, in anticipation for Resident Evil 9. This is what we're going to do. Even if he made fun of himself, even if he was like, I'm going to suck ass at a lot of these, but it's going to be fun. And we're going to talk about the characters. And I want to know what your favorite game is. And do you speed run it or do you have strats or whatever? You could have done this whole thing. But no, come and watch me play Double Dragon with fucking Bimmy and Jimmy. I can't imagine why it didn't go well for you there, Pops.
So let's figure this out, all right? Because I want.
Let's figure this out. Yeah, no, thank you. We all have jobs. I don't think we want to do yours for you.
I want to lock it in, and I want to do something that's going to be very, very fun for everyone who shows up.
And lucrative. Don't forget lucrative. Bring your money. Ching, ching, ching.
Even if not everyone might be interested, at least it'll be a fun birthday event. If you want to just come by and say happy birthday and take off, you can.
Yeah, if you want to just stop by and drop off your money and then fuck off, I really don't care. Money's money. I don't care how we get there.
But if you want to stick around and see me play some great games that I love, you could do that too. All right? So we have a month, exactly 1 month, to lock this in and figure it out. I know that we'll be talking more about this over the next couple of weeks.
Remember, he was told to choose. But, I mean, here we are again. We're going to be talking about this several times over the next few weeks. Oh boy, can you hardly wait? I can hardly wait.
But I would like feedback directly from you guys today. What do you think? Okay, so here's some feedback. Let's see. Kevin says we should do a birthday toast. Oh, I'm sure we will. You know, during...
Wow, I actually took this off of his channel because I wanted a better quality of video. Wow, he actually cut out his little weirdo. He became obsessed with a clock across his room that the time he hadn't changed the time on it. So he got up and just fucked off and walked away and went and changed the clock. Wow. He actually cut out how rude. I thought I was going to have to go back and do it in editing. I was just going to let that part play through the video and then I was going to go back later and cut it out. Wow. He actually did some editing, or somebody did it for him. Because this is off of his channel. This isn't Snort Hogan or Raw Phil or anything. I actually went to his channel to find this. Wow. I almost want to be proud of him, but I ain't going to do that.
The marathon, I'm sure I'll have some drinks and just chilling and relaxing with all of you. Let's see. Small of Enjoyer says the Lion should lead the pack at your birthday. You pick the schedule yourself. There you go.
Right, exactly. You pick the schedule. You pick the games.
Go. Cracker Jack says, I'm glad that your birthday will at least have scheduled games. I'm glad to hear that. Okay.
Yeah, it's not just a free-for-all anymore, dude. People aren't just showing up because it's you. People aren't just going to put up with your obnoxious horse's ass behavior because you're you. This needs to be structured. Something actually needs to be happening here. The bottom line is you're going to have to put some work in order to impress people if you want them to give you money.
Okay. So what does everyone think? Like, would you guys prefer if I did a variety of games that I select ahead of time? That's like my favorite.
You pick the games and you run the marathon. Yes, that's right. I'll pick the games and I'll do the marathon. So would you guys like to give me an opinion? How do you, if you guys were going to do this, what would you do, theoretically?
Games of all time, and we play them all.
He just keeps reading those same responses from these 2 or 3 dents that throw him $5 every other day. It's the only people he can trust anymore at this point, which is really sad.
It sounds good to me, says Toasty. Pokemon Enthusiastic says, if you want the marathons to go better, play more games and less breaks. There was not a lot of breaks during the marathon.
There were absolutely a lot of breaks. He got up and walked away almost every time he put up a poll to play a new game. He would go and fuck off.
Here's what happened, okay? There was a break because my wife and I always go on a break. We go on a little walk or whatever in the afternoons. We go around the neighborhood. We actually go feed the local animals, okay? So
yes, that's right. That is correct. He puts up a live stream and does a live stream and then takes a break to go and walk around the block while you sit and wait, or whomever's watching, respectively.
We had that one break. I think there was one break I had to pee. I had to go get the food when the food arrived, right? Like, there were not frequent breaks. If I was sitting here from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m., yeah, maybe there was 4 breaks. Now, one of them was long. Like, one break. If you have an issue with that, you have like attention deficit disorder. A human has the right to take a break during like a 12-hour event. All right? And
Yeah, if you maybe took one, sure, even if you took a 10, 15, or 20-minute break, for sure, during a marathon where you're streaming, 10, 11, 12 hours, for sure. But when you get up every hour for 5 minutes is worse than one 15-minute break. That sucks because every time you get into the rhythm and you get going and everything's good, then you're stopping and ruining it. You are breaking the immersion.
sorry, as I get older, I'm going to take breaks and pace myself. If you don't like that, then you're probably in the wrong place.
No, they're not in the wrong place. You are doing the wrong thing. And this was very much so reflected in the $343 that you made. So you might want to check yourself.
Okay. A genre switch.
Maybe you should just admit finally that you're too old to do these marathons. When you start saying things like, oh, I can't keep doing this. I have to take frequent breaks. Oh, I just can't keep doing this. Then maybe it's time to realize that you're too old for this. You're too old for the fire sales. Those have stopped, thankfully. Now you're too old for this too. So just stop. But there are some other things that we are going to talk about when it comes to all of these marathons. Again, like I say, I think he actually did a little bit of self-reflecting on his day off on Saturday because it seems as if magically he's come to several very interesting conclusions.
Switch every hour. So every hour on the hour, we must genre switch. Oh, man. Like, here's the thing. Like, right now, I can tell you off the top of my head. My favorite platformer is Super Mario World. My favorite RPG is probably Final Fantasy VI. And my favorite fighting game, everyone knows, is Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, right? So right there, we've got 3 set that we could play. But what else would we play? That's what I would have to figure out. Like, what would be some other games that I would...
Well, it would be, what do you like? It would take about, I don't know, 3 minutes. You stream for 10 hours, right? But 1 hour you fuck off for a podcast and 1 hour you fuck off to eat. And if you count up all the breaks that you're going to take, that's another hour that we can cut out. So you're going to play video games for 7 hours. So pick 7 games that you like. And when it comes close to top of the hour, go on ahead and switch. I mean, really, in totality, this should take about 12 minutes to really put together here, sir.
Enjoy playing during the day, because if you want variety, you don't just want those 3 genres, right? Rose Diamond says, so play whatever, but have a set schedule of games and have it all laid out beforehand, and then let people vote on self-imposed challenges or difficulty levels per game, because that could make everyone happy. Oh, that's interesting. See, the thing is, a game like Super Mario World, there's no difficulty, right? Like, it's just one. But I guess, I don't know if it would be like a challenge. Like if I was going to play one game, then probably what I would do is, for example, in regards to Super Mario World, will challenge myself, can I beat the game in one sitting? Can I beat all of Super Mario World during that birthday marathon while I'm drinking and, having fun with you guys and having some food and some cake and everything? Can we beat it? And then at the end, we have a big celebration if I actually complete it. Now, there would be criteria. What does beating it mean? Does it mean simply just getting to the...
That's not going to work if you're going to change up the games every hour. It would have to be a challenge that you could achieve in the hour that you're playing the game. Like, could you reach, Wendy Koopa in an hour? Can you get there? Or how far can you get into Star Road or something, respectively?
Bowser stage and beating the game and seeing the credits roll, or does it actually entail doing all the secrets so you can go to Special World and all of that, right? So there you go. That's what we'd have to figure out ahead of time, right?
I mean, if you want to see the end of the game with Super Mario World quickly enough, if you were halfway good, you could attempt the speedrun 11 exit strat where you get to Star Road, do Star Road and get right to the end, go to Bowser and beat it. I used to attempt to speedrun 11 exit strat for Super Mario World. It took me about 14 minutes. I wasn't anywhere close to world record. Sucked. I was not very good, but it was fun to do. But you're already confused on what the rules should be. Someone tells you that you can make challenges and things like that. And you're like, well, we could see how long it could take me to play the game. Okay, but is that the only game you're playing? You're making this too convoluted now. This really shouldn't be this difficult. It shouldn't be so twisted up, but you're already not even thinking about what you need to be doing.
What's up, Chris? Good morning. Good to see you. So, this is stuff to talk about, all right, and stuff to figure out. And I want to, plan it out ahead of time so that we know exactly what we're doing, okay? So,
Good luck with that.
oh no, see, someone named Harry Balzac says, get a new
Nice.
controller because the 8-bit controller had input delay. I don't think it did. I think it's the emulator. To be honest with you, I think that the Nintendo Switch emulator has delay. I don't think it's the controllers.
His brain has the delay, I promise you. Everything else was fine. He just sucks ass.
We'll know better when I play different games on the Switch with these controllers. Because the next game I play on Switch, I'm going to try with the Pokemon controller. So you won't know till you play more than one game, but I think that it actually is just the emulation and there's nothing can be really done to make it better. Just is what it is, right? Okay. Okay, so let's start the planning. We already know when the marathon is, April 6th. We already know what it'll be, my birthday event. We already know what's going to happen. I'm going to choose the game or games. And we'll lock them in and we'll know what we're doing ahead of time. But the question mark is, should it be one game or more games? Should it be a challenge run? How do we do it? Let's figure that out. I don't want to spend the entire podcast talking about that, but I think it's something that we should work towards. I'm trying to make these marathons better for you guys because the last two
I'm trying to make them more financially worth it for me because that's what the code is here. That's what code is here. I'm not making a lot of money, which, yeah, I guess that means that you guys aren't liking it, but really, they're not worth it for me. No, for him, as far as he's concerned, sitting for 11 hours and making $340 sucks ass. He wants thousands, and we know this. So here is where he starts talking about monthly marathons.
feel like they were just more chill sessions rather than marathons people cared about. And to be honest with you guys, I think that the marathons don't feel special anymore because we're doing them all the time.
Gee golly gosh, here we are. It's like someone gave him a glass of wake the fuck up juice. You're doing these too often for them to feel special. And these people that give you money, he just made over $1,000 for Resident Evil. These people are tapped. He wants you to stop by every day with hundreds of dollars for him. That is never going to happen. That is impossible. What exactly did you think you were going to get?
Right? Like we're doing a marathon every month now. And so when you have...
Yeah, you're the one who set this up. I love how he sounds shocked and offended by this. It sounds as if he were to say, well, we're doing one of these every month. Why are we doing this? This is stupid. It's not like this is something I put into place. Let's get rid of this idea. This is really
a
bad.
tough time deciding what to do for a marathon, it means that you're doing it too often and it's not special.
Correct. And you knew this a long time ago, but when they were making you between 500 and 1,500 bucks a shot, it was okay. But now that you're barely scraping the good old 350, well, now all of a sudden we have to have a conversation, don't we?
So I think we're going to do this birthday marathon. And then after that, we're
He knows he'll clean up at the birthday marathon, and he probably will.
probably going to give it a break. We probably won't do another one for a while. We'll maybe wait a couple of months. I can tell you, here's the marathons we are absolutely doing in 2026. In July, Indivestance Day.
Good old I Depend on Dents Day, where he's going to take money like the good old days and put on the hats and the vests and the clown makeup and entertain children and the dents and the wheelchairs who just love the hats and the vests. Remember when he was going to do one final hat and vest stream and then pack them away? And they were going to go into storage forever, but now that he makes $1,000 every marathon he does this, he's just going to do it every year. He just milks what works until it doesn't work anymore. It's as simple as, and I'm not the only one who says that. It's not like I have some kind of hot take or a fresh perspective. He just milks the fuck out of whatever maybe even remotely works until it doesn't anymore.
Because this is going to be something we're going to do annually.
because it continues to make me 4 digits every time I stream it.
On or around July 4th, because I don't actually know what day July 4th is this year. Let's see. July 4th is a Saturday. See, so if we do it on Independence Day, it'll actually be a day that normally I have off. But we could probably shuffle it around and still do it. So Independence Day, that's the day when the vests and the hats return. One day only a year on Independence Day. For every $50 that I raise on a stream, I put on a hat, then I put on a vest, then I put on a hat, then I put on a vest, and
you can't make this shit up. You really can't. So goals will be back. I'm sure that will go over very well.
You vote on what ones we're doing.
Oh boy, more voting. Well, I hope it doesn't piss everybody off.
Okay? And at the same time, I'm going to do that for a closet clean out. And what I mean by that is...
Oh yeah, we're still lumping this in with the closet clean out shenanigans.
This closet is now completely messed up again. Seriously. Because of all the improvements to the studio that I did. There's boxes, there's clutter. We didn't get to the second half of the closet last year, which would have been all of my classic games collection, my decorations. That's the stuff we really need to get to. So my goal...
In 8 hours, he couldn't clean out that closet, just in case you didn't think that you heard that correctly. In 8 hours, he couldn't clean out that joke of a closet.
Goal for Independence Day is number 1, to entertain you by being silly and wearing the hats and vests yet again, but also to clean the hell out of this closet so I can start using it efficiently, because right now I can't. It is a hideous mess, okay?
Yep, pay me to clean out my closet and dress up like a douchebag.
Okay, so that will absolutely happen. That's number 1. Number 2, Halloween marathon. Number 3, Christmas marathon. Those are all a lock and guaranteed to happen.
So he will be doing a marathon in July, October, and December, respectively.
Outside of that, anything we do in between, we can figure it out. Okay?
I think he must have gotten... He seems awfully distracted. He won't even look away from the chat. He's eye-fucking it here while he takes a drink, which is very funny. But basically what is going to start happening is after the birthday marathon next month, supposedly, as what he says here, we're not going to be getting a marathon every month because he's miraculously realized that, gee, they don't seem special anymore. Well, when you do one and the very next day, this was Sunday during the podcast, already talking about next month's marathon when we just had one. It is absolutely exhausting. I think he got distracted there. It's not hard. That smaller brain.
But outside of that, like I said, one thing I want to do is the Mega Man Marathon. I want to have one final Mega Man Marathon where we wrap up all the classic Mega Man games. We got
his Mega Man marathons did fairly well. I think one got him $1,100. I think one last year got him $700 or $800. And then I think there was only one where he got I think he got $500 or $600. It was pretty low, but 2 of them did pretty well. And one of them, I believe, did get him like $1,000 or $1,100. So maybe that's why he wants to finish it so desperately.
Figure out, when does that make sense? Because I'm thinking after the birthday marathon, we give it a rest. Like, let's not do one in May.
You shouldn't, and you shouldn't do one in June, and then do your I Depend on Dense one in July, and then leave it alone in August, and then maybe in September. But if you're going to do a Halloween one in October...
Right, let's maybe bring it back in June, or maybe not even till like August or September. So that way we're not doing it all the time and it doesn't feel stale. But we'll talk more about it.
All you should do at this point is July, which you shouldn't even do that one in July. That's just stupid. But July, October, and December. And honestly, that's already too much, dude. Let it go.
So I'm getting a whole bunch of feedback and stuff going on. So hold on.
He's not getting a whole bunch of feedback. Like 3 people are saying something.
We've got Roy. Just did a $2 super chat and says Hamilton watches from Resident Evil 9 are worth over $5,000.
Oh, yeah. He goes into some rant upset about people spending an exorbitant amount of money if they want to for Leon's watch, and nobody cares. So I'm not going to keep going. So this is the majority of what we got from the Cope, from the disastrous marathon that he had on Friday. Again, I was hoping for a little bit more salt. I was hoping for a little bit more Cope. But I believe that from this conversation, I really do think he walked away from the marathon on Friday with pause and maybe a little bit of self reflection, a teeny tiny bit, and that realization of, fuck, like these are not going the way I want them to go. But we just had all of this talking here about how marathons are going to change. But remember that this isn't supposed to be a marathon where he makes $1,000. That was some of his cope that he was having on Friday. You guys are, talking about, oh, I'm supposed to make $1,000 and I'm happy. I'm just chilling out. This used to be a reward. It's not a reward anymore. It's just something fun I do to hang out. Well, funny how that works when you've never done one of these hangout sessions and they've never gone so badly. And now all of a sudden, when you've had the worst marathon you've ever had in your life, now all of a sudden we're not going to do them all the time now. But I thought that they were just chill fun. But now everyone's tired of them and we're not going to do them anymore. Very transparently about money. It doesn't take too long to put the clues together. So I'm not going to ramble on anymore. I've done that long enough. I appreciate you watching the video. If you would like to sub to the channel, I invite you to do that, but you don't have to. I'm not your mom. I can't tell you what to do. We'll see how the future marathon endeavors go from here with Philipper. So big ups. And as always, stay toxic, my friends.